Now we have to discuss about the characteristics of small scale and cottage industries. First of all, such kind of industries are scattered over the country and carried out by the different castes, and they are carried out by the handicrafts at their own home and by their own risks also. They are carried on either with the help of members of family or with hired labor, which generally does not exceed the number 10. Normally, the amount of capital invested is very small and the amount does not exceed rupees 5,000. Now, we have to highlight on the basic objective of establishing small and cottage industries to generate opportunities for full-time employment by revitalizing and developing the existing traditional and small-scale industry, promoting intensive development of new viable industries, to raise the level of earning of handloom weavers, rural artisans, and other people who are directly or indirectly attached to this industry, to promote the growth of this industry in rural areas and small towns, to reduce progressively the role of subsidies by providing them selectively for the credit development of skills, designs, as well as marketing. Now, how can we classify small scale and cottage industry? Basically, part-time rural cottage industries, which cover all such industries, provide the supplementary occupation to agriculturists, which are mostly agro-industrial in nature. Processing industry, processing of cereals, pulses, cotton ginning, coffee grinding, groundnut decodification, rice hulling, etc. Agro-based industry consists of dairying, poultry pigging, and sheep, goat rearing, etc. Classification of small-scale industry can be broadly pointed out in this manner. Basically, small-scale industry are undertakings having investment in fixed asset in plants and machinery which does not exceed the amount 10 lakhs. Part-time urban small-scale industry consists mostly of seasonal industry engaging the part-time laborers, that is pottery, tiles and cement pipes, sanitary wares, etc. Whole-time small-scale industry include all the small perennial industries in urban areas like bidi, cigarette making, blacksmithy, carpentry, engineering units for servicing of tractors, harvesters, threshers, plough setters, duster and sprayers of insecticides. Next, electrical units for electrical installation, servicing electrical pumping set, tube wells, etc. All kinds of hosiery products, furniture making, printing presses and roller skins, etc. are also examples of small-scale industry. Handicrafts like needling, carpet making, embroidering, and soap, coir products, hair and perfumery, these also includes the small-scale industry. Metal-based industries such as buckets, box, brush utensils, wire products, builders' hardwares, welding, galvanizing, and electroplating, dyeing, drugs, medicines, module plastic goods, fertilizers, these are the examples of small-scale industries. Now, we have to particularly focus on what is micro, small, medium enterprises. The Micro, Small, Medium Enterprise Development Act, which was introduced in the year 2006, defines MSME on the basis of investment for both manufacturing as well as service enterprises. In case of manufacturing enterprises, the micro enterprises was defined as an enterprise where investment in plant and machinery did not exceed the amount rupees 25 lakh. A small enterprise can be defined as an enterprise where investment in plant and machinery was more than 25 lakh but did not exceed 5 crore. A medium enterprise was defined as an enterprise where the investment in plant and machinery will exceed 5 crores but never exceed 10 crores. In case of service enterprises, we can define as follows. The micro enterprise can be defined as an enterprise where investment in plant and machinery did not exceed 10 lakh. A small enterprise was defined as an enterprise where investment in plant and machinery was more than 10 lakh but did not exceed 2 crore. A medium enterprise was defined as an enterprise where investment in plant and machinery was more than 2 crore but never exceed 5 crore. Now, we will discuss on importance of MSME sector in context of Indian economy. Some stylish fact on the contribution of MSME can be presented as follows. The MSME sector contributes a significant way to the growth of the Indian economy. The share of this particular sector in total manufacturing output was even higher than 45%, and the share of this sector around 30% in nominal GDP as estimated in the year 2016-17. The estimated amount of employment in MSME sector was around 11 crores as reflected by 73rd round of National Sample Survey conducted during the year 2015-16. Around 50% of MSME operate in the rural area and provide 45% of total employment. Interestingly, micro enterprises comprises 97% of total employment in the MSME sector. The share of MSME sector in India's merchandise export stood at around 48% as reflected in the figure 2012-13. This simply signifies that MSME sector becomes gradually globally competitive and their product of services are being accepted overseas. It fosters entrepreneurship and generates the employment opportunities. As MSME absorb the surplus agricultural labor, they help to reduce the problem of disguised unemployment in context of agricultural sector. MSME are also complementary to large industries as ancillary industries and also play an important role in the whole ecosystem of secondary and tertiary sector. Performance of MSME sector in Indian economy. On the basis of nature of activity, the highly vibrant sector of Indian economy called MSME sector are categorized as manufacturing, trade, services and electricity. The total estimated figure shows that MSME sector accounts for 29% of total GDP and 45% of industrial output in the economy. The importance of MSME sector easily can be established from the fact that the labor intensity in micro small enterprises is 4 times higher than that of the large enterprises. Regional equality. The MSME sector are particularly market centric and are concentrated around the region where there is sufficient purchasing power. That's why it is the reason why the MSME sector are located throughout length and breadth of the country, and it helps to promote the regional equality. How does MSME sector help the export? The MSME sector play an important role in export promotion of the country and contributes around 40% of the total export in the country. More than 93% of MSME sector consists of non-traditional items such as ready-made garment, processed foods, leather products, gems, jewelry, etc. They have to continuously update themselves to meet the challenges that arising from changes in technology, emergence of new market, etc. Equitable distribution at income and inclusive growth. The presence of MSME sector in rural segment is significant, keeping in the view that 70% of the population lives in the village and large disguised persons are engaged in the agriculture. Further, ownership of MSME is more widespread than the large-scale unit. Overall, around 67% of micro units are owned by the socially backward group, that is SC, ST, OBC, etc. What are the problems and challenges does the MSME sector face? The major challenges include physical infrastructural bottlenecks, inertia to technology adoption, capacity building, backward-forward linkages, and perennial problem of delayed payment, lack of access to credit, etc. Inadequacy of finance. India's MSME sector faces a major problem in terms of getting adequate loans from the banks to operate their existing business activity. Out of the total credit disbursed by the industry to the banking sector, MSME sector receives only 17%, whereas large-scale industry receives around 83%. So, banks have been mandated to provide 40% of aggregated net bank credit to the priority sector comprising agriculture, small-scale industry, microfinance, etc. Access to credit and formalization. Credit play a very important role to the development of MSME sector, as funds can be received as a reasonable cost, so they can increase their competitiveness. Credit disbursed to this particular sector, however, remains very slow during the recent year. At an aggregate level, the total credit outstanding from banks and non-banking financial institutions to the MSME sector was approximately 18.6 crores at the last of the month September in the year 2019. Scheduled commercial bank account 90% of the share of total credit outstanding. As MSME sector generally operate in informal place, so it becomes very difficult to assess their credit worthiness. In the absence of collateral and underwriting, the customer often entails the higher cost. Furthermore, due to the small scale operation, they are also unable to take advantage of the government scheme because it requires some digital infrastructure and also require the beneficiaries who must have the form of digital identity. Delayed payment is also a crucial problem in case of MSME sector. A large number of MSME are ancillary units catering to the needs of the large industry, both public as well as private sector. They often face the problem of delayed payment, which affect their cash flow and working capital. Delay in realization of such kind of receivable increases their operating cost and also reduces their ability to the new world. The ones which are not receiving the timely payments in case of the MSME sector are basic metal and metal products, engineering, construction, infrastructure and related items. Industrial sickness is also another problem in case of the MSME sector. The three major reasons that we can highlight for industrial sickness are lack of demand, shortage of working capital and marketing problems. Among the registered units which have been announced as sick, lack of demand accounted for 72% and shortage of working capital and marketing problem are responsible for their sickness as the percentage 48% and 45% respectively. External competition. In India, small scale industry was provided with special protection and patronage which was started in the year 1967. A removal of quantitative restriction and reduction of tariff turned tides against the Indian firm and they lost market because of cheaper imports. Infrastructural constraint. Lack of proper infrastructural facilities can cause serious damage to the MSME sector. So, there is a need to upgrade the infrastructural projects in case of the MSME sector so that they can achieve economic of scale, collaborative bargaining by the each of them, particularly on the aspect of the small infrastructure. Marketing problem. To withstand the large competition with the bigger enterprises within and outside, MSME sector need to respond promptly to the evolving market needs of the economy. The sector needs to be provided better market access opportunity in order to sustain and enhance its contribution towards output, employment generation and export. Technological constraint. Technology play a vital role in case of the economy, particularly in the phase of development process. In the era of globalization, the MSME sector needs to compete local or national level and also global level. So, they must have to acquire the modern technology. Export Committee recommendation on MSME. In order to understand the structural bottlenecks and factors affecting the performance of MSME sector, RBI, Reserve Bank of India, had set up an expert committee on the MSME under the recommendation of Sri U.K. Sinha in the year 2019. the committee has undertaken the following recommendation for economic and financial sustainability of the MSME sector. These recommendations are wide-ranging and can be depicted as below. Legislative changes, technological upgradation, improving backward and forward linkages, improving financial support from formal sources. Measures taken by the Reserve Bank of India to promote the MSME sector. The Reserve Bank of India has taken several steps for promotion of MSME sector. Banks form the predominant source of the formal credit to the MSME sector with different kinds of loan. In August 2019, banks have been incentivized to provide loan to the MSME sector. Now we will discuss about the government schemes relating to the promotion of MSME sector. The first one is the Prime Minister Employment Guarantee Scheme program. In short abbreviation, it can be called PMEGP. The scheme was launched on August 15, 2008, and its basic objective was to generate the employment opportunity in rural as well as urban areas through setting up of new self-employment generation scheme across the micro enterprises. The scheme also aims to help arrest the migration of rural youth from rural sector to the urban sector and also increases the wage earning capacity of the artisans. Second one is Credit Linked Capital Subsidy Scheme. This scheme launched on October 1, 2000. The objective of the present scheme was to facilitate the technology upgradation in micro and small scale enterprises to providing capital subsidy of 15% on institutional finance availed by the induction and well-established improved technology of the MSME sector. Credit Guarantee Trust Fund for MSME sector, provision of collateral-free credit for MSME. Guarantees are also provided for collateral-free lending to the micro and small enterprises and financial institutions. The scheme basically covers the free credit facility to new and existing MSME sector up to 200 lakh per borrowing unit. A scheme for promotion of innovation, rural industry and entrepreneurship, shortly abbreviated as ASPIRE. ASPIRE is a government scheme, Government of India scheme, which was launched in the year 2015 with a basic objective to enhance the technological concern, incubation centers to accelerate entrepreneurship among the MSME sector. Scheme of fund for registration of traditional industry. This scheme was launched in the year 2005 for making the traditional industry more productive and competitive by organizing the traditional industries, artisans, which can be broadly divided into several clusters. Financial support to the MSME sector in Z classification, Z classification. This scheme was launched in the year 2016 and the basic objective of this scheme was to envisage the promotion of zero defect and zero effect manufacturing unit among the MSME sector. The objective was to achieve developing a healthy ecosystem among the MSME sector so that the MSME sector are being encouraged and they can produce the quality product. Financial assistance which can be supplied to the SSI, that is small scale industrial units. Several schemes was introduced to provide financial assistance to the small scale industrial units. The first one is Small Scale Development Fund, introduced in the year 1986. Second one is National Equity Fund, introduced in the year 1987, and Single Window Scheme, introduced in 1988. First scheme, that is Small Industrial Development Fund, provides refinance assistance to the development, expansion and diversification, rehabilitation of small scale and cottage industry and tiny sector in the rural sector. Next, National Equity Fund, which was established in 1987, provides equity type support to the small entrepreneurs for setting up new projects. SWS, that is Single Window Scheme, also provide working capital loans with fixed capital to the new tiny and small scale units. In addition, commercial bank was asked to provide priority to the small scale units in case of providing the loans. Setting up SIDB, Small Industrial Development Bank of India, for meeting the long-standing demand of small-scale industries for a separate apex bank was established to provide financial assistance to the micro small-scale industries, basically in the year 1989. The basic objective of SIDB was as follows: refinance of loans and advances, discounting and rediscounting of bills, providing different kinds of services, extension of seed capital, granting of financial assistance and refinancing of loan, extending the financial support to State Small Industrial Corporation Limited.